Hi Gaurav, so what do you think? जो बच्चे cities में हैं या villages में हैं, are they sufficient? Which of them are sufficient in vitamins?
इनफैक्ट मेरा क्वेश्चन तो ये है कि सप्लीमेंट्स क्या बच्चों को एक्चुअली चाहिए होते हैं? डू किड्स रियली नीड विटामिन्स?
Interesting. So let's see what the science says.
So today we have this very interesting discussion, and I have my co-host Dr. Poonam Gupta. Poonam, welcome to the show.
Hi Gaurav, great to be back.
Very nice question that you have come up with, and you said let's see what the science says. So what are we talking about, Poonam?
Actually, you know what happened today? In between patients, I stumbled over a study which was done in around 2,500 kids in India in 10 major cities. And they had very interesting findings. I
Okay.
had a myth कि जो हमारे cities के बच्चे हैं, they are more self-sufficient. They have a better diet because पैदा होते ही parents obsessed होते हैं, and we give them all fruits, fortified this, fortified that. तो जो हमारे 13 vitamins और minerals होने चाहिए हर बच्चे में, and always this thing कि the urban या city kids are sufficient in mostly sufficient in that, and it is the rural or the village kids which are deficient. But this study broke all the myths. Do you know almost 60% kids are deficient in all the essential vitamins and minerals?
Okay, so let's break this up. When we say micronutrient deficiency, we are referring to a lot of vitamins and minerals जो हमारे के लिए हमारी हेल्थ के लिए बहुत ज्यादा जरूरी हैं, and apparently we have close to 13 which are very very important. And
Exactly.
this particular study looked at school children. Most of us have children who go to school, and they looked at 2,500 children who are going to school, और उनका उन्होंने सारे vitamins का analysis किया. And in cities, including our own city, beautiful
Exactly.
Chandigarh, जहाँ पे हम दोनों हैं, we found that 60% children, as you said, were deficient in iron, 50% were deficient in vitamin D, 30% in B12, and slightly less numbers in folate, selenium, zinc, etc. So huge number of children जिनके अंदर ये कमी थी, और ये सब हमारे बच्चों की हम बात कर रहे हैं because these were school going kids.
And interestingly, Chandigarh is the third city in India with these deficiencies. And cities में, let me add, there were 60 schools. ये नहीं कि बहुत छोटा population, selected schools है. 10 cities, 60 schools, 2,500 kids. And
Wow.
all urban, all in cities. So this was an
Wonderful.
interesting finding. So I think that answers your question, Gaurav. Kids do need supplement.
Wonderful. So now the question is कि before we go on to the supplements, first we need to figure out कि बच्चों के अंदर एक्चुअली हम कैसे ये चीज फाइंड आउट कर सकते हैं. इन्होंने तो चलो स्टडी कर ली, बट व्हाट डू यू से? इनफैक्ट अगर हम बात करें तो हमारे बच्चे को हमने क्या टेस्ट करते हैं व्हेनेवर वी फाइंड दैट देयर इज समथिंग रॉन्ग?
Nice one, Gaurav. हमारे बच्चे में, because I am a vegetarian, you were a non-vegetarian, and she somehow was towards vegetarian. So I always used to feel कि कहीं उसकी diet deficient तो नहीं है. So in the last 5-6 years, we used to get her hemoglobin, iron, vitamin B12, and vitamin D tested.
ओके.
And since she's a very active child, sporty child, तो हम लोग उसका ध्यान रखते थे. And let me tell you, we did give her supplements. We do give her supplements. She started taking eggs, but I think keeping this in mind and this study in mind, all parents should get a yearly test done for their kids.
Okay,
For
so what I'm getting is that what we do for our child, and this is honestly not something जो आज की डेट में it is scientifically recommended for every child, is that हम अपने बच्चे का once a year we like to get their HB, their ferritin, which is the iron levels, and we also like to do the vitamin D and probably the B12 as well, because non-veg इतनी ज़्यादा diet में नहीं है उसके. So these are the tests we like to do once a year, and maybe we can add folic acid to this also, considering जो इस report में almost आया है कुछ बच्चों में. So these are the 4 or 5 tests जो once a year, या अगर सब कुछ बिल्कुल बढ़िया चल रहा है तो at least once every 2 years होने चाहिए. That is something which is recommended.
I'd like to say, because I was just keeping a track of different studies on iron levels, iron deficiencies in India. The trend is 5 years back, there were 60% kids below 5 years of age in India who were anemic or deficient in iron. Okay? Then it came out to be 65%, and at present it is 67%. Point A, in the last 5-6 years, we have a huge population. So a 2%, 1% rise is pretty significant. So this needs to be seen. And as far as I remember, the recommendations by the IAP are that vitamin D supplementation has to be started within the first year of life of a child, and iron should be given after 2 years for 100 days a year. Right, Gaurav?
Absolutely. So vitamin D birth से लेके 2 years तक daily बच्चे को मिलना चाहिए, and this is true for every child. As far as iron is concerned, every baby should be started iron at the age of 4 months, because brain की development के लिए, हमारी behavior के लिए, हमारे growth के लिए iron is extremely important. And as you correctly said, एक बार बच्चा 2 साल का हो जाता है, then of course it is 3 months every year. And these are all guidelines which are given by the government of India. So this is not something which we are talking about. So vitamin D and iron are extremely important in the first couple of years. And after that, as we can see, some of the other stuff also becomes very, very important.
I think these are things which need to be, emphasized more, even in a healthy baby checkup, and maybe by social media, by radios, by जैसे हमारी government और बड़े सारे messages देती है, these should also be broadcasted a lot.
Absolutely. मेरा इनफैक्ट एक चीज और मैं कहना चाहूंगा कि इवन इफ यू आर गिविंग अ वेरी गुड डाइट टू योर चाइल्ड, वी से फोर्टिफाइड सीरियल्स दे रहे हैं, फ्रूट्स देते हैं, वेजिटेबल्स देते हैं बच्चे को हम, बट द फैक्ट ऑफ द मैटर इज दैट if you get your child tested, you'll be surprised. Rarely have I found a child who's not deficient in at least one or maybe even more. In fact, sometimes अगर हम HB करते हैं, hemoglobin भी close to normal है, and then we go into drill down into these tests, iron and other stuff, we find that उनका फिर भी deficient होता है. So to make and keep your child healthy, बच्चे की एपेटाइट अच्छी रहे, बच्चा बार बार बीमार ना पड़े, बच्चा फिजिकली एक्टिव रहे, और आजकल पेरेंट्स को टॉल भी चाहिए बच्चा. सो ऑल ऑफ दिस के लिए वी मस्ट इंश्योर कि हमारे बच्चे के अंदर विटामिन्स पूरे हों, एंड अनफॉर्चुनेटली और फॉर्चुनेटली सप्लीमेंट्स आर नीडेड फॉर अ लार्ज नंबर ऑफ किड्स.
I would say it is fortunately because पहले इतनी awareness नहीं थी, right? I am sure पहले भी deficiencies होंगी. Now the parents are more aware, the science is more progressive, so these things are picked up more, right? Another thing, I always believe it is a reflection of the family's habits and the family's diet which come out in the child, right? अगर family में ज़्यादा fruits की और large quantities of vegetables, salads और maybe non-veg की आदत नहीं है, तो बच्चे को भी नहीं होगी. And the other thing is, I think all these processed foods and unhealthy food habits.
Absolutely. So yeah,
I don't think हम लोग 100% delete कर सकते हैं.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल, हम अपनी लाइफ से भी नहीं कर पाते हैं, बच्चों के से कैसे कर पाएंगे. सो व्हेन वी से प्रोसेस्ड फूड और जंक फूड, वी रेफर टू फूड जिसमें बहुत सारी कैलोरीज हैं, लेकिन विटामिन, मिनरल, आयरन एक्चुअली 0 के बराबर है. आई ऑलवेज टेल पेरेंट्स, लुक, अगर आपके जो बच्चे का जो डब्बा है, जो पैकेट है, चिप्स का या नूडल्स का या किसी और चीज का, बिस्किट का, अगर उस पैकेट के ऊपर बड़ा बड़ा लिखा हुआ है एनरिच्ड विद दिस एंड एनरिच्ड विद कैल्शियम एंड फाइबर वगैरह, ऑल ऑफ दैट इज जस्ट अ मार्केटिंग हाइप. A processed food or a junk food is always going to be high in calories, always going to be high in carbs or fat or salt, and in that case it is never ever can be a healthy alternative. There is a reason why एक सेब के ऊपर नहीं लिखा होता बड़ा बड़ा कि rich in calcium, because उसको बेचने की जरूरत नहीं है, हमें already मालूम है कि it is good in all of these things.
And you know what the other challenge is? Giving these supplements for long time to kids. Micronutrients have to be given for long time. आपको कोई भी कैल्शियम देना है, आपको विटामिन डी देना है, आयरन देना है, तो it has to be one tasty so that the child takes it, and it has to be effective. I found, it is like bragging, I would say, but I found Chuvius, जो हमारा brand है, it is pretty effective. I've seen parents coming up with these reviews की appetite better होगी, hair fall कम हो गया, irritability कम होगी, leg pains कम हो गया, and the incidences of infections कम हो गए, and the kids are mostly very happy.
Absolutely. This is completely shameless self-promotion. We make Chubias, but we honestly believe that it's something which is good because बच्चों को multivitamins, बच्चों को iron, बच्चों को calcium, बच्चों को D, B12 ये regular चाहिए. This is used daily by our body to keep us healthy, to keep us active. to keep us tall. And all of this needs regular vitamin supplements. So अगर आप बच्चे को दवाई दे ही नहीं पाएंगे या बच्चा उसको लेगा ही नहीं, then it doesn't matter how many bottles you have in the house. And in this situation, gummy vitamins are very, very interesting way to try to give children their daily iron, their calcium, their multivitamins. So I think you are absolutely right. This is a good idea.
And the thing is, because this type of supplement, was initially started in the Western countries. So बहुत सारे parents बाहर से मंगाते हैं. So what they need to know is that the ingredients are based on the diet and the recommendations of that country, not on the Indian diet. So if you want to go for a good supplement, gummy vitamin, go for a good Indian one. And always check the ingredients and go back to your pediatrician and get them cross-checked.
Sounds good, Poonam. I think we had a wonderful discussion. We talked about this latest scientific study, which clearly shows that Indian children, जो कि cities में रहते हैं, जो school जाते हैं, they have a lot of deficiencies. We have discussed why these deficiencies occurs. We have discussed ये deficiencies से बच्चों को क्या-क्या problem आ सकती हैं, and we have discussed कौन से test हम बच्चों में करा सकते हैं. And finally, we have given good ideas as to how we can make sure that the child can take a good supplement. Can we just end up with some natural ways, some dietary things which you can change to help the child reduce their deficiencies so that they may not need supplements for a very long time? Anything that we can talk about on that?
Winters, I always feel कि इतनी अच्छी vegetables और चीजें आती हैं, so that's the time to take very good diet. Iron के लिए things like जो natural अंजीर होगी, किशमिश होगी, गुड़ हो गया, शक्कर हो गया, the unprocessed things, they are very rich in iron. So this should be part of the routine of the family, right? Unless somebody is diabetic or has some other problem. And I've seen अगर आपकी green vegetables ज़्यादा जाती हैं in vegetarian diet, palak, methi, saag, I'm talking about Hindi things, and a lot of salads and fruits like anar, papaya, apple, kiwi, these are all rich in iron and vitamins and all. So these should be part of your daily routine. Not कि हम fruits खाते हैं पर हमने आज खाया और हम अगले हफ्ते खाएंगे. So that should not be there. And those who are a non-veg diet, they should add some vegetables. I've seen parents जो बच्चे जो non-veg तो खाते हैं but सिर्फ chicken चाहिए, उसमें कोई green नहीं होना चाहिए.
True. Wonderful. So I think we can conclude with that. Any parting thoughts, Poonam? Anything you want to say in the end?
Myths can always be broken.
Yes, and continuing medical education for doctors is always a good thing. आप नए articles पढ़ते हैं, नई चीजें पता चलती हैं, and हमें ही नहीं, हम अपने parents हैं उनको भी बताते हैं. I hope that all the parents and all the caregivers of children जो बच्चों का ध्यान रखते हैं वो इस चैनल को सब्सक्राइब भी करेंगे and और लोगों से शेयर भी करेंगे, because they also deserve to know these truths. Thank you, Poonam. Again, as usual, wonderful to have you on the show.
Thank you, Gaurav. It was a great time. Bye-bye.